Hey guys, Zeramus555 here. Yeah, I know I look tired. It's because I need to go have a shower. I have work in a bit here, but I just figured I gave myself some extra time. I wanted to do a deck profile for you guys. It's more of an update. It is just Bujins again. But I have been testing them like non-stop, them and Herald. I know I keep saying the Herald deck profile is coming up, but I'm waiting for one more card in the mail. And then I will have the deck profile for you guys. I don't like doing proxies and deck profiles. It just feels cheap. And as you guys, as my viewers, I like to give you the best quality that I can. So yeah, anyways, I love this deck. I actually didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. I never really hated playing Bujins. I know everyone always kind of was like, oh, I hate Bujins. But I feel like the card that I actually hated in the deck was Kaiser Coliseum. It wasn't actually the Bujin deck. I think Bujins is actually one of the most balanced decks that Konami has ever made. It's very, very consistent, but it's also not broken. I think in the fact that it's slow, it's not super fast, but it has really, really good control, and I like that. Like, I'm a control player. I don't like playing decks where I just spam the board and OTK my opponent really fast. I like games where you have to think. I feel like that's what the game needs to be about. It needs to be about interaction. And there's a lot of new decks that Konami's making that aren't about interaction. And I actually hate, and I know a lot of people agree with me on this, I hate all the new decks from the new set. I'd say Yang Zings are okay, but I just don't like, I like the idea. I just really, really don't like how the deck revolves around skill drain now. I think skill drain needs to be banned. I really hate shadows. I hate them. Like, just no matter if the deck can outgrind Bujins, it goes to tell you like that deck was really poorly made. And I think shadows are extremely poorly made. Shadow Fusion punishes players for making XYZs and synchros, which is ridiculous. It shouldn't. Like, it's really just Evil Swarm, Exciton Knight, or sorry, Ophion all over again. And the fact that it's just like, okay, I summon this card, you're punished for playing a deck that has synchros. And it's the same thing with shadows. It's like Shadow Fusion's at 3. It's insane at 3 because you just keep flowing it back to your hand off of their effects. And it's just really not fair. And then the Brilliant Abyss deck is just ridiculous. Like, that deck just never loses advantage. It can sack really hard if you mill really well off Dante. And it's also the fact that it can run the Chaos Monsters really, really consistently. So all around, I really don't like any of the new decks. I would say the only one I'm okay with is Satellar Knights. I think they're fine. I just don't like how they're literally just like Call of the Haunted, Altair, Deneb deck. Like, that's really all that deck does. It's just you use Deneb, search out Altair, and the next turn you just do the same thing, and you XYZ, and you do the same thing, and then you use your Satellar Knight to Alpha to negate stuff, which that card's busted. I think that card needs to get hit too, but anyways, rant over. I'll get on with the deck profile. Comment down below. I am really interested. What do you guys think of the new decks? Like I said, I don't like any of them, so I would love to hear what you guys think. But anyways, I kind of picked this deck off Thomas Dodlin, Akito Dotzel. I said that right that time. Because I feel like this deck is still going to be very relevant in the format. I don't think it's going to get hit on the ban list at all. If anything's going to get hit, it's going to be Kaiser Coliseum, but I don't think Kaiser Coliseum is even that good right now. I would say the only deck it's actually remotely good against is Satellar Knights, but I mean, they're starting to run MST again too, so I just don't like that. I don't like playing Kaiser. My opponent knows what it is, and then they just MST you and win, so that's super frustrating. But anyways, without further ado, I'm going to get on with the deck profile and just talk about my changes. 3 Yamato, he's the main guy in the deck. I won't really say anything about him, but yeah, he is, if you want to build this deck, it's a lot cheaper now because the tins just came out. You can get like all 3 Yamatos now for 10, whereas before they were about 20, so that's nice. I was running 2 Mikazuchi, I think, in my last deck profile. Might have been. I'm just playing 1 now. I think I was just playing 1 in the last one, too. I tested out 2, and I liked it. I thought it was good. But I think the problem with Mikazuchi is that it does require Yamato being on the board in order for this summon to be worthwhile. And if you summon this and torrential you, you have to waste your hair, and then you're only stuck with Yamato anyways. So you just 1 for 1. It's kind of annoying. This guy's really good, though, because he gets you Bujincarnation, but other than that, he doesn't do a whole lot else. His special summon effect is pretty relevant, but at the same time, I think it's a lot more important if you're playing Kaiser Coliseum. So I think you just need 1. I've seen a lot of people still running 2, and I think that's completely unnecessary. If you draw him by himself, he sucks. He is good with Crane, though, because obviously you search out the Bujincarnation, but then you have nothing to banish, so Unless you have Hirume. Hirume is really, really good. I love this card. I hate opening it as your only Bujin. That's the only thing I don't like about it. It kind of sucks. It's like opening Wolf as your only monster in Lightsworn, which never really is going to happen, but it's still awkward. At least this card is very consistent, though, in the sense that you can banish any Bujin card from your graveyard to special summon it, and that makes it really, really strong. It also has great synergy with Arasuda, who I'm still running. I love this guy. I think he's really good. If you have a Hirume and you special it, and you can just special this guy for free, it lets you overlay for a rank 4, and then you haven't even used your normal summon yet, which is really important. So I'll do that a lot. I'll special off that play, and then I'll go into Susan, and I will detach, and I will grab the Yamato and summon it, and then you're in a good spot because you got the Yamato going again, and you have your Maxx attacker on the board. So that's it for the Bujins. I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Onto the Bujingis. I have 2 hair. That's stable. Not going to say anything about that. Although I think the best one now is Turtle. I do get a super. Although his name is actually Bujingi Cheezy. I want everybody to look at Bujingi Turtle, and then I want you to look at a picture of a cheesy, a cheesy cheese puff, or Cheetos cheese puff on Google, and you'll see what I mean. It looks like a friggin' cheesy. So he is officially now Bujingi Cheezy. And then we have Bujingi Quilin. You still need the 1 of. I like him. Now, I'm not running him right now because I don't have it, but I actually will be dropping out one of the 3 Cranes for Sinew. I like Crane. I do. I think it's a very good card. But the problem with it is that players know to play around Bujins now where they're not afraid of Crane. And I think now, we're in a really trap-heavy format, and Shadows is a thing, is that they can get around your monster a lot, your Yamato or whatever, a lot easier now. So I feel like Crane's not as good. The other problem I have with Crane is that this happens a lot, and I'm sure a lot of Bujin players will recognize this and agree with me. And if this has happened to you, comment down below, because I would love to hear your stories. Well, you'll have a Yamato on the board, and you have nothing else in your hand. Your hand's gone. Or you do have a hand, but it's nothing you want to discard. It might be a Bujincarnation, something important. And you need to get a battle attack, or a battle step card, such as Crane in your hand, but you can't. So what are you going to do? So the problem is you can't search out Crane and with Yamato in the end phase and then dump it, because then you waste your Crane. It also sucks if you open these, because if you summon them and just XYZ with it and it goes to the graveyard, the only thing it's good for in the graveyard is a banished target for Hirume, which sucks. So I'm going to drop one of these out for Sinew, because if you have Yamato and you don't have a hand and you need something in the graveyard, you can just end phase, add Sinew to hand, dump Sinew, which is awesome. It's also really good because if you draw it and you want to XYZ with it, it's better than XYZ with Crane, because Crane sucks if you XYZ with it. And its effect is actually better than Crane's, just for the fact that it's literally another Honest. I think Crane's really good, but obviously because the damage calc is better than damage stat, but I think that Sinew is very, very good just for the fact that literally it gets over everything, whereas Crane can only get over twice the attack of the difference. So it's, I mean, that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think about Sinew. Comment down below. I get that it's not as good if you draw it, but I mean, I just think it's so much better than Crane in instances like that. And I feel like if I need Crane, I'm going to search it with Susan. And the 1 Honest, obviously that's staple. Now, I was playing Kaiser Coliseum in my last deck profile. I did take them out. I'm running 2 Maxx's now. These are testing really good. At worst, they're 1-for-1 against Shadows. If you do have the instance, though, where they go Shadow Fusion and they dump, what the frack's it called? Falcon, then you end up going a +1 off of this. It also is great because it means your opponent can't play around it, whereas with Kaiser Coliseum they can, which is obviously a pain in the butt. Most people, good players, will know how to play around Kaiser Coliseum. And once again, more people are starting to play MST again, so I think that's also a big issue. This card as well poops on Satellar Knights. Like, it is hilarious how bad this card wrecks Satellar Knights. I mean, in the instance where they go Altair, target to Neb, and special it, they can just stop. They're still in a good spot because they're going to search and grab another Altair. But it means it stops their plays, it stops their XYZ plays. You're still going 1-for-1 off Maxx. It's staying out your deck. And this card's really scary if you have a Yamato or a Susan on the board and you're drawing cards, because your opponent's always afraid, like, he might be drawing into the Honest, which is the card they do not want you to draw, especially with a Susan on the board. If I had Vanity's Emptiness still, I'd sold my 2 for $50. The profit is real. I would drop the Maxx and I'd run to Vanity's Emptiness instead, but I expect that card to be reprinted most likely in the next Legendary collection. Onto the spells, 3 Bujincarnation. This is the best card in the deck. I've seen a lot of people running 2 lately. I get that it's not as good against Shadows, but a lot of people do seem to realize, or forget, I should say, that you can just special the 2 monsters. You don't have to overlay. So you can just bring back a Yamato and a Mikazuchi or something, or bring back a Yamato and a Hare in defense, and just sit on them. You don't have to do anything. If you don't want to overlay, make their Shadow Fusion live, that's fine. But I feel like you still need to run 3 Bujincarnation. It's your comeback card. I've won so many games just top decking that thing when you're behind, and it just completely blows out the game. So the next up, obviously, we have the staple 3 Tenki. Might go down 2 again, but I highly doubt it. Like I said, I don't think this deck's going to get hit. If anything's going to get hit, it's going to be Kaiser Coliseum. 2 Pot of Dualities. I mean, you could run 3. I think 2's fine, though. I kind of see it when I need it. The deck's pretty darn consistent. It's just those awkward hands where you don't open with Yamato that's kind of frustrating, and a 3rd Duality would be nice. 2 Chalice. This card's amazing. I've actually been surprised how well it's been testing. It gets under Trap Stun. It gets under Wiretap. You can use it during the damage step, which this deck has a problem now with flip effect monsters, such as Shadows. Just because Hare or Turtle does not work in the damage step anymore. And that's actually very relevant that he doesn't work in the damage step anymore. And I feel like this card really helps. Giving your opponent's monster 400 attack isn't a big deal because you're generally going to have like a Crane or something in your hand anyways. But yeah, this card is super, super strong. I really, really like it. It also, it does target, unfortunately, but I mean, it's also just very useful because you can use it as a battle trap as well. If you need to get over something that's a little small or a little bit bigger, you can always just like put it on your monster and run them over by 400. Running 2 Lances. I'm not sure if I was running these before. I think I was running 3 MST in the last deck profile, but yeah, I think you need these. I just noticed like the problem with MST against like 3 back row is that I don't know what card is the one that's going to stop me. So I've been noticing with the Lances, I'll summon Yamato now. I'll get like Bottomless or something, and I can just chain Lance, and I feel safe. Like I'm like, all right, I'm good. Till the end of the turn, he can't Fiendish Chain me. It'll just sit on it, stuff like that. 2 MSTs. I dropped this down to 2 just because 3 was fine, but it was a bit overkill. I think, to be honest, if I had 2 wiretaps, I would run those over these. I'd just rather side deck the 2 or 3 MSTs. I think it's good, but there's only certain cards it's really good against, and we have Quilin to pop stuff anyways. So, and my last spell, I'm still running Soul Charge. I was gonna take this out, but it was still testing really well. This card needs to be banned. Anyone who's saying this card needs to go to 1, you're an idiot. This card needs to be banned. It's stupid. It just auto wins games when you play it at the right time. It is insane in Satellar Knights as well because they all get their effects if they're special summon off the Soul Charge, which is ridiculous. Like 1,000 life points for 1 monster doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. So I think that's just insane that card's still around. I think they just kept it there for Worlds. And to be honest, like a lot of people are saying Infernity needs to die. This is the reason Infernity won Worlds, guys, is this card right here. This is 3 more Infernity barriers. I don't like Infernity as much as the next guy, but I feel like before this card came out, Infernity wasn't even relevant in the meta because it just wasn't consistent without this card. So I think if anything's going to get hit in Infernities as well, it's going to be Stygian Street Patrol. Lavalval Chain's also an issue too, though, of course. 2 Fiendish Chains. I would like to play a 3rd of this. I did cut out the 3rd one for Soul Charge, I believe. I think that if Soul Charge gets banned, I'll probably just put in the 3rd Fiendish Chain again, because it's still really good. And I like it over Breakthrough Skill. 2 Deep Prisons. Staple, I think, right now. Compulsory is good again. I've always liked this card, though. A lot of people are cutting Bottomless out. I can get why, but I still think it's good against a lot of decks. Too many decks not to play it. So I still really like the card. I think it's relevant. And Solemn Warning. So that's the main deck, guys. It's 40 cards. Let me just go through the extra deck really fast here. I know we're on to like 14 minutes. I always have long deck profiles. 1 Amaterasu. He's awesome. I just like him. I got room, so. 2 Susanos. I don't think you need 3. I've never had a game where I needed 3, actually. There was one time out of all the testing I needed 3, but I think 2 is just fine. Tsukiyomi, I've never actually made him, but I think he's necessary if you have those awkward hands. 1 Omega. 1 Tiger King. He's actually really good. Black Ship of Corn. Diamond Direwolf, he staples in this deck, as is Castel. This guy's really, really good. I expect this to go up in price, so if you guys want to get some extra value, I'd pick up Castells now, because I think they're going to probably go up to about $30 or something, most likely, like Cowboy was. Pile Dynamo. Heartland Draco's OP in this deck, because you have the Tenkis and stuff, which is cool. It's also really good if you're playing Kaiser Coliseum, but I'm not, so it's not as relevant. Maestroke, I will take this out for 101 when I get it. Bistweller, Cowboy, and Raptian Berserk. This card's awesome because if you put it on Susan, he goes up to 3,700 attack all, so that's pretty cool. But anyways, guys, that's the deck profile. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below about all the things I talked about. I'd like to hear your thoughts. And I promise I will have a Herald deck profile soon. I know you guys have been very patient waiting, but I'm waiting for one more card in the mail. It should most likely be here late next week, so fingers crossed. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.